Today, I'm going to be talking about an auteur by the name of Francis Ford Coppola, who directed The Outsiders, made in 1983, The Great Gatsby, made in 1974, and The Godfather, made in 1972. I will be talking about a certain mise-en-scene I chose for each film and how each characteristic of said scene is associated with mise-en-scene. The movie The Outsiders takes place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. In this scene, Dally, Ponyboy, and Johnny Cade are at a drive-in movie theater to have a night out. There, they meet two girls named Cherry and Marcia, but Dally just keeps bugging the girls to try and hit on them instead of just watching the movie with Ponyboy and Johnny. The Great Gatsby takes place in New York City. In this scene, it takes place during the nighttime. Myrtle is trying to escape the house after her fight with her husband. In this version of the movie, we don't see Myrtle getting hit by the car. Instead, it cuts to Tom, Nick, and Daisy sitting in the car and then pulling up to Mr. Wilson's mechanic shop. After they pull up to the mechanic shop, they find out that Myrtle has been hit by the car, but they still don't know who was driving the car. All they know is that the car was big and the car was yellow. Like The Great Gatsby, The Godfather also takes place in New York City. In this opening scene, the main character, Don Vito Corleone, leader of a crime family in New York City, is sitting in his office listening to each person asking him for favors. In this particular scene of The Outsiders, we see that the lighting in the drive-in movie theater and throughout the film is mainly natural light. This is because they are shooting each scene in a real environment in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like The Outsiders, The Great Gatsby also uses natural lighting. The natural lighting is used during the nighttime outside and inside the mechanic shop where it is dimly lighted. In the opening scene of The Godfather, we see that the lighting is very dark, but it is also trying to make it more or less completely black so that the lighting focuses more on the actors. The overhead lighting used creates a lot of shadows in the face than it would on any other lighting. In this particular scene of The Outsiders, the acting is truly amazing. The emotion that Cherry showed in this scene was outstanding. Her annoyance was clear, and I could actually feel her emotion. In the beginning of this scene, we see that this whole scene and any other scene in the movie is overly dramatic and just felt really rushed. In this scene of The Godfather, we see that the main character is surprisingly calm in this opening scene, as he is dealing with his complaint he is getting, or rather, the request he's getting. Although it is unclear, you can tell that Don Vito Corleone is kind of annoyed that the guy went to the police instead of coming to him first, being that he was a crime lord. In this movie, one of the two gangs called the Greasers are the poor side of the neighborhood. They wear their hair sleeked back with baggy shirts and jeans, leather jackets, and jean jackets. The other gang in the movie, called the Socias, are the rich kids side of the neighborhood, with rich clothing and makeup. Most of the clothing style in this movie and the makeup are flapper/rich people clothing/makeup because it takes place in the 1950s. This was quite popular back then because it was to show the status of the people back then. Now, The Godfather was pretty tricky. The clothing and makeup are mostly just for the Italian New York Mafia gang because in this movie that's all it focuses on. It's because that it shows the power that they have over the people and that they aren't afraid of anything that comes their way.